Breaking news, Donald Trump has just shocked everyone with an unexpected announcement. If you are an immigrant with no criminal record, you will not be deported. Yes, you heard that right. Effective the 20th of July, a new measure will change the lives of millions of people. The U.S. president has guaranteed that immigrants with no criminal record can remain in the country without fear. But that's not all. Trump has announced a new immigration plan. Eligible immigrants will be able to obtain legal status for 5 years with the right to work legally and live in peace. This country also belongs to those who come here to work, build, and strive for a better life. The president declared if the plan succeeds, it will be extended for another 10 years. This is a historic measure aimed at providing a second chance for those who truly deserve a future in the United States. This will be the beginning of true change. Please share your thoughts and spread the word. Before the video is removed,
if you are undocumented and you have been in the country for more than 5 years, you do not have a criminal record, you're working and paying taxes, you can come out of the shadows with no fear and apply for the dignity status. That means they will pay a fine of $7,000 over 7 years, buy their own health insurance with no access to any federal programs, and contribute 1% of their salary to the United States Treasury. That is $50 billion plus. Just do the math. In return, they will never be deported. They will be able to go home for Christmas or to go bury their mother and come back to the United States to continue working and paying taxes. It gives them a dignified life in the promised land. Period.
Pretty big deal. This new Trump policy is stripping bond hearings from detained immigrants. So under this guidance, immigrants who enter the U.S. without inspection or without authorization may no longer be eligible for bond hearings, forcing many to remain in, that's a lot of them, in detention throughout lengthy deportation proceedings. In fact, I mean, the judges are inundated right now. I was in court waiting about an hour and a half for a hearing yesterday for a final hearing, and it later got moved a couple of weeks. So ICE claims the change closes a loophole and ensures equal treatment. But advocates warn it expands detention powers and removes judicial discretion, even for longtime residents with U.S. citizen children. Exactly. A lot of people who would be the best eligible would be cancellation of removal 42B applicants who've been here more than 10 years and have good moral character and extreme unusual hardship to the family. Legal experts fear that this opaque policy gives ICE unchecked authority, with some judges already denying bond. We're already hearing about it. And DHS says the move aligns with the efforts to keep criminals off the streets, as a new funding allows for more detention centers. And critics say due process is at risk. Well, it's at risk everywhere, it seems like, every day. So, unfortunately, this is from an NBC News article. My name is Ruby Powers, your go-to immigration attorney.
Representative Maria Elvira Salazar has submitted a new bill called the Dignity Act. The Dignity Act is a bipartisan bill that would allow immigrants undocumented in the United States who were here undocumented before December of 2020 the opportunity to obtain an employment authorization to continue working legally in the United States for the years to come. This bill will not allow for these immigrants to obtain legal permanent residency or citizenship, but will allow them the opportunity to come out of the shadows, work legally, travel freely outside the United States, and continue paying taxes and being an asset to our communities. So I hope that you will support this bill, and I pray that you will tell all your senators and congressmen to support this bill, to make it a law, because this is what the country really needs at this time.
Breaking immigration news, a revolutionary immigration bill has been introduced to the House that will create a legal pathway for millions of undocumented immigrants. The Dignity Act has been introduced to the House, and it will create a legal pathway for undocumented immigrants who have been in the country for at least 5 years. It will create an employment status, and it will also allow undocumented immigrants to travel in and out of the country, but most important, they will not have to fear deportation. However, Once qualified for the Dignity Act, immigrants will have to pay a fine of $7,000 over 7 years, and they will have to pay 1% of their salary to the U.S. Treasury. And that is not a bad exchange for no fear of deportation and finally having a legal status. So as of right now, it does not lead to citizenship. It does not lead to a green card. But what it allows for undocumented immigrants to be able to work, travel in and out of the country, and not fear removal. Also, it does provide a provision for the dreamers. The dreamers will be able to get a 10-year conditional green card, to which after 10 years, they will be able to remove these conditions and then apply for citizenship. So a huge change, huge shift, and finally, some type of good news for immigration. It's not yet passed. It's not yet into law. It is still just a bill. So hold on. This is still a developing story, but it is some ray of hope into the bleak immigration situation that we're facing today. You can always find more news here. We will keep you up to date.
There's some breaking news in immigration. As some of you may have heard, a new immigration bill was introduced by 2 congresswomen, and in part of that bill, there's something called the Dignity Act. So the Dignity Act provides a means for those undocumented immigrants in the United States to eventually become a green card holder. There's a lot to this bill, but I've highlighted some of the key takeaways. So it allows people in the country for 5 years without legal status and with no criminal record to work and be protected from deportation for 7 years through the Dignity Program. Those in the Dignity Program will have a 1.5% levy on their paycheck in addition to their normal taxes, and they will also pay a fee of $5,000. It will allow those who complete the Dignity Program to achieve something called Dignity Status, which will be an additional 5 years to remain in the U.S. legally. That status can be renewed indefinitely. It will also allow those who complete the Dignity Program to enter the 5-year redemption program, during which they must learn English, U.S. civics,